What is up, y'all? How's it going? Welcome into the Sactown Sports Kings recap as I try and get everything going here, everything all set up. As you can probably tell, my mic quality is a little bit different. I was having some mic issues today. What else is new? So at least this time my my mic audio won't be cutting out, but it'll probably be a little bit lesser quality as I'm doing it through my webcam here. So hopefully it's at least usable, and definitely gonna try and have that fixed for y'all by Sunday. So first things first. Kings do get the win, 129-120 over the San Antonio Spurs in-season tournament game number 2 for the Sacramento Kings. They are now 2-0, sitting atop the West Group C division over the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are also 2-0. The Kings have the advantage via point differential, which they are now plus 16 in their 2 in-season tournament games with the win over OKC. What was that, last Friday? Now winning today over Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. This unfortunately is probably the end of the road for the Spurs when it comes to the in-season tournament for this year. They pick up their third loss of the tournament, so they are pretty much eliminated mathematically. So clearly that's a team that's still trying to figure things out. They're still young in Victor Wembanyama's development. It's definitely not about success this season, but you and we collectively as Kings fans tonight saw what San Antonio has to look forward to these next couple of years. Big exciting things happening over there in San Antonio. And first things first, tonight's game was just an absolute roller coaster from first quarter all the way to the final whistle. The Kings started off this game about as poorly as you could. There was a point where they were down 18 points in that first quarter, early in that first quarter, 23-5 at one point, and then they go on a run to end that quarter. I believe it was 22-7 or something like that. They end the quarter on. That's exactly what they needed to do. Started to get a little bit nervous that San Antonio, saw some shots go down. And once you let a team, especially a team worse than you, frankly, play with confidence and get that confidence and see the ball go through the net a couple times, it gets scary. Any of these teams, any NBA team is capable of getting hot at any time. And, the Spurs are definitely not they're not exempt to that. So it was good to see the Kings acknowledge that, recognize that. You knew Mike Brown wasn't just going to let them lay over tonight, but the Kings definitely course corrected a little bit there early in the game, and unfortunately, that's not where the roller coaster stopped. It was not just early bumps and then smooth sailing the rest of the way. Felt like one of those nights where the Kings, they get the big comeback. You feel good. They go up 10. It's like, okay, here we go. We're gonna coast this one, probably like we should. And then San Antonio just kept fighting, kept staying in there all night long. Shout out Zach Collins, who I can't stand now after watching tonight. He killed the Kings tonight. I think he finished with 28 points, knocked down a couple threes. Was just always in the right place for San Antonio. Was incredibly active, and he kind of killed Sabonis. Sabonis wasn't on Wemby really at all tonight defensively. That was a lot of matched up on Sabonis. And, it probably helps that Sabonis found himself in foul trouble, but Zach Collins also played his role in that. So shout out Zach Collins. It was definitely his night, and I'm just glad it didn't end up costing the Kings the game, because he was that good tonight. He was hitting his perimeter jump shot. And when you mix that with Wemby, their bigs were just a real problem for Sacramento tonight. You saw that they don't have the size. Many teams. Actually, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to check real quick. Yeah, no teams can match up with Victor Wembanyama. So, that was always going to be the big question about tonight, is what the Kings do on a dude like Wemby. Like, again, there's not a lot of 7'4" guys walking around that you can just throw on Wemby. They tried JaVale McGee. I thought it was okay. I just didn't think that was ever going to be the answer. I don't think you fight fire with fire. I don't think you try and match Wemby up with someone who's going to try and bother him with length, just because simply I don't think you can. So I would try and be physical with him. I really the only person I liked on Wemby tonight was Keegan Murray, who, that's fantastic to be able to say. He's made major strides defensively these past couple games, and we've seen it happen and develop throughout this season already. But he's making major leaps on that side of the floor, and it makes it excusable that he's not knocking down shots on the other end. Obviously, the Kings need Keegan Murray shooting at some point this year. They're going to need his scoring ability. That was also part of the leap that the Kings want to see out of Keegan this year. But the fact that he's bringing it defensively almost negates any struggle, because you just need to find a way to contribute, and Keegan's doing that on the defensive end with his effort, and frankly, just by it's not even just effort, it is really skill with him. You can see that he's learning how to be an impactful defender. I posted a clip earlier today during the game of him guarding Victor for just one possession, just how physical he was. You saw it when De'Aaron was matched up on him too, poking and prodding at the ball. Kevin Huerter had some success with that when he was matched up on Wemby as well. Just keeping Wemby uncomfortable, and part of what's going to be difficult for Wemby if he does want to be a perimeter player with how long he is. Guys are going to get in his face, and Wemby's got long arms. He's not going to be able to pick up and rise up to take his shots if you're in his face. And I thought Keegan and De'Aaron did a great job of just being in his face and making him take uncomfortable shots, because clearly Wemby has the ultimate green light for that team. He took some bad shots for sure. I think ideally Greg Popovich would like to eliminate all non-paint area shots from Wemby. Of course, I'm sure he's okay with the occasional three, but Wemby did take a lot of weird mid-range jump shots that are just kind of fat in the NBA. Like you just want to trim that stuff out of your game, and it does wonders for your efficiency. Like Victor Wembanyama tonight. Yes, he did statistically. You look at the box score, 27 points, 9 rebounds, but he scored 27 points on 26 shots. You're going to live with that. That's totally fine. That means that he was working for every single shot, every single point he got. Sometimes you just got to live with it. And I think the bigger key tonight, if you want to make this game more of a blowout, isn't the fact you let Victor do 27 and 9. It's, again, the fact that you let Zach Collins 28 points, 10 of 14 from the field. If you want this game to be a blowout, it's simply hold Zach Collins to his season average, which is 13 points per game. So if you hold Zach Collins to 14 less points, like he usually does, this game is an easy victory for the Kings. Nonetheless, take it how you can get it. You saw the Timberwolves barely beat a Warriors team the other day that didn't have Steph, had Draymond and Clay ejected in the first minute of the game at that. So you can never take your opponent for granted. And you just gotta play through every night, and it's not every night's gonna be easy. Not every night is gonna be how it looks on paper. And tonight was definitely one of those nights where the Kings had to snap out of it a little bit and get into a rhythm and understand that you can't just roll the balls out and win games in this league. It doesn't matter who it is. I thought they learned that lesson against Portland. Maybe they really learned their lesson tonight with that slow start here in San Antonio. No, I shouldn't say here in San Antonio, over there in San Antonio. So hopefully that's something that we don't see rear its ugly head around. The Kings are still early in this road trip, 6-game road trip, only 2 games in. They will fly to Dallas probably tonight, I would imagine. Night is still young. It's 8:30 over there, if I'm not mistaken, right now in Texas. So it's a short flight over to Dallas. I would assume they make that trip tonight, spend tomorrow in Dallas, get a shoot around in, maybe get a practice in, and then Sunday be ready for Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks, who are really playing well to start this season. 9-3. I know I'll be the first person to tell you the Mavericks haven't had the most impressive win so far this season, but at the same token, they haven't dropped games. We see on a night like tonight how easy it is, even when you're quote unquote supposed to win, doesn't necessarily guarantee that you will. So the fact that Dallas has been able to beat teams that they should beat, I think is a massive, massive positive, and should show that they're a team that clearly takes every single night very seriously. So if the Kings, you would imagine that the Kings would understand that a 9-3 team is a team that needs to be taken seriously, but just more of a reminder of how sharp you need to be, because clearly Dallas understands how important the regular season is this year after not making the postseason last year. Okay, I think that was a nice long-winded intro there. How was everyone else feeling about the game tonight? Again, a little bit of a cloudy night here in Sacramento, so you can't really see the best view of the beam from around town. You can still definitely see it poking throughout certain parts of the sky, but not quite as bright as what it was for those first couple wins. So, makes me, it's like when your nose is plugged up, and you kind of take for granted breathing and tasting food. It's like, with the beam, sometimes you take for granted what it's like to just see a clear beam during the night. So that's my beam take for the night. How about De'Aaron Fox, y'all? Just what a guy. It's 42, 8 and 7 tonight. 43. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. I took Manny. You're making me sound like a fool. 43, 8 and 7 tonight for De'Aaron. Just that guy. Like the Kings, they just might have a superstar, ladies and gentlemen. De'Aaron came into tonight averaging 30 points per game on the nose, scores 43 tonight. That average is going up. He was already tops in the NBA, or near the top in the NBA. Let me just, for good measure, check what that was looking like entering tonight. But you would have to imagine when De'Aaron is hovering above 30 points per game, I would guess that's got to be top 5 in the league. So that he's putting up MVP numbers. I again will continue to say that the fact that the Kings struggled so much without De'Aaron definitely helps add to his MVP case. I think if your team looks like a completely different tier or different quality of team when you're not out there, I think that should really speak to media members or whoever votes for MVP that this Kings team really needs De'Aaron Fox if they want to look like the team that they hope to be. Because frankly, on a night like tonight, the Kings shooters didn't hit shots. Kevin Huerter has been out of his mind these last 3 games heading into tonight, and he didn't have it tonight at all. He finishes, I don't think he hit a perimeter jump shot tonight. He did. He hit 1. He was 1 of 4 from 3, scored 9 points. Keegan only scored 6. He was 0 of 4 from 3. The Kings had no shooting tonight from the guys that they really need shooting from, which is also probably a reason why this game was so close tonight. But it didn't matter that Kevin and Keegan combined for 15 points. You can throw Harrison in there, and their 3 other starters combined for, 22 points. Sabonis had 27, De'Aaron had 43. So those guys just carried the load tonight. This is not usually how this team would want to play. I think, we've talked so much in these post-game live streams about how the Kings' secret biggest weapon is the fact that they have so many guys who are capable of putting up 20-point games, 30-point games, whatever it may be. They usually don't like to win like this. They usually don't like to have their offense be so centered around Fox and Sabonis, who combined for 70 points tonight between the two. You want to throw Malik Monk in there, and it's 90 of the Kings' 129 points were scored by 3 of their players. That's absolutely absurd. Just more in a good way. The fact that they can get all of their guys, they just figure out how to score points. This offense is ridiculous. Malik had a great night tonight, 20 points, 8 assists on the night. And yeah, I cannot believe it. 7 and 4 on the season. after such a slow start, I think it's a great sign that the Kings bounce back, much like they did last year. Definitely Kings fans don't forget, but the Kings started 0-4 last year and then clawed their way out of it, eventually going on a 7-game win streak around this point in the season last year. So, they're following the same formula as they did last year to get around what they finished with 48 wins. So I think they're past that pace right now, but definitely on track to at least be on a similar record plane as last year. So good stuff for the Kings. Good that they were able to shake off that early Houston road trip and just kind of knock that out of their system, because things were looking scary. Things are definitely looking scary. And mid-rock, I cannot believe I have not mentioned Malik Monk has entered a new nominee for dunk of the season. I thought it was over. I thought after game 1 we had seen the best that we were going to see. I thought the rest of the season was just going to be us talking about how, that was cool. But do you remember in Utah when Malik Monk dunked all over Chris Dunn? I think a new competitor has entered the chat, and that competitor's name is also Malik Monk. And Malik Monk threw it down on 3 different Spurs tonight in one dunk, not separately. In one dunk, he dunked on 3 Spurs. Let me see if I can find the video real quick, because it was spectacular. He cocked back on it. Zach Collins tried to block it. Malik just powered through. I mean, you knew when he took off 2 feet and just brought it back like that, he was just going to try and throw it down and use his strength. And I don't know. It really might be the dunk of the season. Ooh, here's a good angle from the Kings media team. Let's see if we can get this locked in here. All right. I mean, everyone's seen this, but dang. Yeah, that's nasty. That is. I mean, there's a reason why I'm pretty sure De'Aaron Fox and Keegan Murray didn't include Malik in their conversation for dunk of the year and who's going to have dunk of the year. It's because they knew that Malik is just he's on a different level than them, and that wouldn't be fair. So Malik Monk just continues to be a one-man highlight reel, and at this point, we shouldn't be surprised if he has another dunk of the season nominee, like on this road trip, because at this point, the rate in which he's throwing down highlight dunks is getting ridiculous, as our man DeMarcus Cousins would once say. How about ESPN? I definitely tuned in to the ESPN broadcast just because I haven't been able to listen to a Kings national broadcast so far this year. I thought it was interesting. I was sitting in the other day with Whitey and Jerry Reynolds, and Jerry was talking a lot about how he loved everything Doc was saying. I definitely agree. Me and Jerry always seem to be simpatico, but I thought Doc Rivers was great. I did think it was strange that they were. I more have an issue with the pregame show, and there was some stuff that went around the other day. There seems to be this narrative on ESPN that Davion Mitchell is hurt, and that's the reason why he's not playing. I think it's just that a lot of those people don't watch the Kings basketball on night-to-night basis. But, I thought the broadcast was fine. Didn't love it. Mike Breen, frankly, didn't bring enough juice for that Malik Monk dunk. I love Draper's call for it. He definitely knows how to get the excitement level to a 10. So, love Draper's call on that. And I love Mike Breen, but he really he did not bring it on that Malik dunk. So plus for our guy Draper. Tay, interesting. De'Aaron Fox's 3 looks better. He always does this in the beginning of the season where he takes a ton of threes, it feels like, in the first 10 to 15 games of the season, where he's almost gauging, like, I definitely worked on my shot all off season long. Let me see if it paid off. And then it feels like around the 10, 15, 20 game mark, he'll look at how his shot has fallen and then kind of determine, okay, am I going to keep shooting this much? Or as what's happened in the past, he'll usually be, taking 9 to 10 attempts per game for the first month or so of the season and be, around 34% and be like, I should probably be a little bit more efficient. But he was knocking them down tonight. I think he knocked down 5 or 6 threes. De'Aaron hit a really a deep fall away three. He hit 5 of 11 from 3 tonight. A deep fall away three to end the half, I believe, which was just a great way to end it. And you can tell that he's got a lot of confidence in his shot right now. So, and absolutely, Jess, Domas as well knocked down 2 triples tonight. As Doris was talking mess about him as well, she was saying how she wanted Sabonis to take more jumpers, and as she said that, Sabonis was spotted up for 3 and knocked one down. Again, I've talked about it after a couple different games, but if Sabonis can knock down that perimeter jump shot, even just a couple times every other game or something, or a couple times every other game, which is what I said, I'm sorry. If he can hit them a couple of times, maybe like once every other game, there we go. I think that would be good enough. Just the point is to just make the defense feel like it's a threat, like he's a threat from out there. You saw what happened when Wemby when Sabonis pump faked and Wemby went for it, and Sabonis was able to drive right by him. That's the idea. That's the ultimate goal of Sabonis, showing that he can hit perimeter jump shots. I don't think he's trying to become Brook Lopez or DeMarcus Cousins, where he's knocking down multiple threes a game, or it's something you can really rely on. I really think it's just one of those things where he's trying to get it on film so that when the scouting report comes and the assistant coach is letting the opposing center know about Sabonis's game, it's not just he's going to stand out on the perimeter, but A, he really never shoots it, and B, even if he does, we're willing to live with it. We want them to say, if he's out there, he might take it, so step out on him, and B, especially because he might hit it. It's not like it's fine, live with it. If he's only taking 1 to 2 a game and he's knocking it down for the season at like a 38%, 40% clip, you have to step out on him. He's a threat from there, and it's not necessarily about quantity. It's more about again, just having the threat of being able to do it, I think will be enough for Sabonis, and setting everything else up too. And of course, Jess, right on the dollar. We've talked about it again after every single game. He did hit some clutch free throws, and I do have to admit, I did doubt him. I publicly said in the room I was in, I was like, well, he's guaranteed to split these at least. And Sabonis did shut me up and knock them both down. So I got to give that man his credit, got to give him his flowers, because he knocked down free throws tonight. And that's been just a major issue with this entire team. Let me see what they shot. De'Aaron shot 10 of 13 from the line. Of course, you'd want him to knock down more of those, but even getting to the line 13 times on a night like tonight was incredible. It's a big reason why he ends up with 43. King shot 83% from the line. Can't complain about that, especially with how they've been shooting from the line so far this season. Let me check right here. If I'm not mistaken, the Kings are like 28th in free throw percentage. They were 27th in free throw percentage. They were knocking down 72.8% of their free throws, which is just absolutely terrible, on 23 attempts as well, which is near the tops in the NBA. It's in near middle, top 10 in the NBA. So they just have been leaving a lot of points out there, especially when you factor in the fact that they've also been missing a ton of open threes. So when you compile missed open threes with missed free throws, you're making it tough on yourself. You're fighting an uphill battle at that point. And, the Kings did struggle, I think, to hit open looks tonight, but they were real. I mean, they had De'Aaron Fox. That definitely helped tonight, but also can't forget about Domantas Sabonis, who is finally, I think he might have heard, some of the chatter about when De'Aaron was out, like, oh, I thought the Kings had 2 All-Stars. I thought they had 2 All-NBA players. That was me saying that. He's showing that, hey, man, I can't do it by myself. And I think that was a big thing when De'Aaron was out. There was a lot of pressure on Sabonis to create the offense for everybody at that point. De'Aaron obviously can create offense for himself, but Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes, even to an extent, relies so much on Sabonis to get their offenses going as well that it was just he was literally trying to do everything. And I think sometimes, especially in that second Houston game, he was trying so hard to get everybody else involved, kind of forgot to get himself involved. So with De'Aaron out there, it's just, again, said it a million times, I feel like, but it just feels like the puzzle pieces are coming together, and it feels like everything is falling into place for this team here early in the season, finally. So Kings are doing a great job of picking up wins here after a slow start. Let me see where they're sitting in the standings now. Because, frankly, the Western Conference has been a little shaky. And I think some teams that people were expecting to be at the top of the West have definitely disappointed throughout this year. Of course, the Clippers have had a slow start. The Phoenix Suns, who are playing the Utah Jazz right now, I'm definitely going to watch that once I get off this live stream. There's been a couple disappointing teams this year. And the Kings at 7-4 now, I believe. Do they jump over Houston? No, they stay below Houston. So they stay in the 6th seed. But nonetheless, Houston's had a ton of home games. They've had 7 home games. 7 of their 9 have been at home. So Kings have done a good job of definitely keeping that home record really good after struggling to win at Golden One Center last year. Kings moved to 3-3 on the road this season. I'm sorry, 4-3, because I don't believe these numbers are updated yet. No, that is correct. 3-3 on the road, 4-1 at home. So they've done a great job of protecting home court. And last year, funny enough, the Kings were great on the road. And so far this season, of course, 2 of those losses being the Houston losses, they just haven't been that same class. So hopefully, obviously, on this long 6-game road trip, they can prove that last year was no fluke with their road record. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm ready now for my 3 stars of the night. And then we'll preview Dallas a little bit. This one is, again, a pretty easy choice when it comes to who will be the options. The options down here on the ticker, and they honestly go in reverse order. I'm going to give my first star of the night to Malik Monk, who came off the bench and was just incredible. Doc Rivers talked about how Malik is the quintessential 6th man. When you think about a 6th man, it's somebody who's going to come in, instantly knock down a couple shots. You instantly feel his threat, and Malik adds the playmaking on top of it to, again, get his teammates going as well. You can't ask for a better option off the bench. Malik was great, knocked down some tough perimeter jumpers, had the highlight play, and was just awesome. Was just awesome, bringing the energy. And the Kings needed Malik scoring just as much as they needed Sabonis scoring tonight. And Malik had a couple quiet nights in a row. So you had to guess that on national TV with the big spotlight, Malik was going to take the opportunity. And he's a problem, man. He's again somebody who not a lot of teams are going to have somebody that can slow down Malik Monk. So shout out Malik. You get the first star of tonight. Great job, great performance. And, I definitely expect more of the same out of Malik moving forward. 2 stars goes to Domas, who I kind of thought was even going to have a bigger impact tonight. I thought he was just going to bully Victor Wembanyama if he was on him. We talked about Sabonis kind of struggling to slow down Zach Collins tonight, but Sabonis, nonetheless, still found pockets of time to assert his will throughout this game. So strong, so crafty. His footwork is incredible, and the ability to play with 5 fouls down the stretch, I thought was just remarkable. I mean, so many guys. Again, they talked about it on the broadcast. I'm gonna big up the broadcast. They talked about it. About how guys change their game when you have 5 fouls. You're not going to be as physical. You're going to shy away from contact. Maybe you don't want the ball in your hands that many times because you're afraid you might get a charge, or maybe especially a guy like Sabonis who sets screens so often, maybe the most of anybody in the NBA. some guys will be afraid to set screens because you don't want to pick up your sixth foul on some illegal screen that might not even be your fault. So shout out Sabonis for just blocking all that stuff out and saying, you know what, I got to play. If we're going to win this game, I'm going to need to be Domantas Sabonis and not a lesser version of him. And he was really good down the stretch again, hitting some free throws, still being physical in the paint with Zach Collins. And I thought defensively he did about as well as you can when you're put in that foul situation. Continues to be really good with verticalities. I think I saw he won the Defensive Player of the Game chain tonight. I would be shocked if Mike Brown didn't mention the amount of verticalities Sabonis has, because he talked earlier, I believe it was last week, about how he believes Sabonis is the best in the league at verticality. So would not be shocked if Mike mentions that, because looking at his counting stats, Sabonis only had 1 block, no steals. He's got to justify it somehow. So definitely would guess deflections and verticalities. And who will I give my 3 stars to, guys? Let's put in the comments who you think should get 3 stars tonight, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm hearing some Keon Ellis. Yeah. Some Chris Duarte's for 3 stars on the night. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I know. I see it's flooding in the chat right now. It's just flooding in. I think I don't see anybody saying. I'm surprised. I really thought everyone would be saying 3 stars. Okay, 3 stars to De'Aaron Fox, I guess, if I have to. What did he do tonight? 43 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 of 11 from 3. Yeah. I think I'm okay giving that to De'Aaron. I'm going to give that to De'Aaron. 43, 8, and 7. Are you kidding? Are you actually joking? This dude is out of his mind. And I know San Antonio doesn't have a point guard, so take that with a grain of salt. But honestly, I think Jeremy Sohan is a really good defender on the perimeter. Of course, he doesn't have the speed to stick with De'Aaron Fox, but I think his physicality and his length are still really good traits to put on a guy like De'Aaron. It didn't matter. De'Aaron was going to get to the rim. Again, the free throws were huge for him getting to that 43-point total, 10 of 13 from the line. But his finishing ability, he got an and one over Victor Wembanyama, y'all. Like, he's 7'4", and De'Aaron Fox just casually drew the contact and got the and one. You're right, Leonard. You know what? This is comment of the night. 3 isn't enough. 5 stars. 5-star review for De'Aaron Fox tonight. Just incredible. 5 of 11 from 3. I don't know what else you want to see from him. Just a great performance, and I think his ankle injury is okay. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say he's starting to feel pretty good, and that's going to be a problem for the rest of this league. I'm excited. I'm excited for Sunday. I'm excited to see Luka and Kyrie and to see what that Dallas situation's like. I'm excited to see if they're frauds, because frankly, I do think that their schedule does kind of say that there is potential for some fraudulent behavior coming out of Dallas. Let me read out those victories for you real quick because I keep talking about them. So far this season, Dallas has beaten the San Antonio Spurs, the Brooklyn Nets, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Chicago Bulls, the Charlotte Hornets, Orlando Magic, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Pelicans, and the Wizards. None of those teams, I would say, are having successful seasons at this moment in time. Let's see. The Pelicans here are sitting – I can't even find the Pelicans. Why can't I find the Pelicans? Pelicans are the 7 seed. They're 500 right now. Dallas also split with them, so they beat them and lost to them in New Orleans. The Clippers obviously are having a season from hell. They're 3-7 right now. That's not very impressive. Orlando is 7-5. That's actually a pretty good record, so that's probably their best win of the season so far. That was in Orlando. Chicago's a dumpster fire. They're 4-9. Memphis is the worst team in the Western Conference. San Antonio is the second worst team in the conference, and Brooklyn is 6-6. They're the 10 seed in the East. So anytime they've really had to play a tough team, they lost to They lost to Denver 125-114 a couple weeks ago. They lost to the Raptors, who have been okay, but they're also 5-7. I didn't even realize they were playing that poorly. I watched them a couple days ago, and I was actually really impressed with how they looked. But their season's been disappointing, I guess. But just not very impressed with Dallas's wins. So it will be interesting to see how the Kings look against them. The Kings have honestly had some really exciting games against the Mavericks in recent history. So excited to see how that goes down. And it should be a really, really fun sports weekend. There's some good football games on this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And you're going to have Kings basketball on Sunday and on Monday as they take on the Pelicans as well on Monday. I will be back here on Sunday. I guess you can call it Sunday night. It's a 4:30 game in Dallas, so I'll probably be hopping on the stream around 7, if I had to guess, on Sunday night. And then you can check us out again on Monday as well after the game right here on Sactown Sports 1140 YouTube channel and on our Twitter page as well. Kings win. The beam is lit. I'm going to go check that thing out. They beat the San Antonio Spurs in the in-season tournament. Kings moved to 2-0 in the IST, excuse me, ISN, the IST, if you will. And they moved to first place in West Group C. Again, they will play Dallas on Sunday at 4:30. I will see y'all after that. And let's go Kings and light that freaking beam.